Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Chaos-Reighn here. I've been a bit under the weather lately, so it's been harder for me to get the voice and everything like that to chat and make videos. So I skipped yesterday, and today I'll be posting one or two videos. But as you can see, I'm still having issues. Other than that, I have a little bit of a special video today. Today I'm going to be showing basically a um, a pretty new farming method. Now, it's kind of new, but it's just kind of a revamped old one that I was using last league. I posted something like it last league with Nemesis 3 currency and the Harbingers. This league, it's just Nemesis 3 currency and Harbingers, but you're forcing the Nemesis on the maps. Now, I'll go to my hideout. I actually recorded this whole video and the recording kind of got botched, so I'm just gonna record this again, this time just kind of make it short, sweet, to the point. Basically, it's your standard Harbinger kind of setup. Now the new Harbinger node, instead of giving you a guaranteed pack, it's a 30% chance to replace any Harbinger, including like any one of the ones you get from your modifiers or any one from your scarabs. With a powerful Harbinger boss, which has a bunch of rares. And then we are using the Nemesis 3 currency notable, along with 3 of these Nemesis drops additional basic currencies. I only have tier 2 rolls, and 1 Chaos Orbs have 0.7% chance to drop as a full stack. Now, these can each and individually trigger, so you can actually drop a total of 6 currencies if you get lucky. Excuse me. And this one just makes it so you have a chance to drop a full stack, and it's only adds up to about 1% after the Secrets of the Stones, but it's still worth it. I still like it. Obviously, we are using our mapping setup, so we are using Enduring Influence, Secrets of the Stones, and we have Awakener level 9. Well, before I do continue, I did run the map, the first map, and I got an X on it, and I was like, all right, well, I'll see if I can roll one with Nemesis and Beyond. So I want to do that real quick. Excuse me. And I'm also going to throw one Delirium Orbon, just so I can kind of show you what it looks like with a Delirium Orbon. Just is basically going to be like what it's going to be like to super juice a map. Come on, give me something cool. Oh, we have Beyond. It's given us Beyond 4 times, 5 times, and it hasn't given us Nemesis yet with it. Now, you do want Nemesis on your map regardless of what you do decide to roll, so I'm just gonna stop here and continue. And the reason why I'm stopping here is because it doesn't really matter if you have Beyond. Beyond does help you. It does give you a little bit of a boost in, just overall loot. But if you end up spending that much, you're not gonna make much profit. So I'm just gonna call that there. That way you can kind of see where I'm going with this. We're going to put Alva on, and the reason why we roll Nemesis on here is because we actually want to run Infused Harbinger, because the Infused Harbinger gives you 4 additional Harbingers. With these 7 and then 1 innate, that's That's 7, that's 11 plus 1 that guaranteed 12, and then I have 2 more that come up next to the boss. It ends up being like 15 harbingers, I think. You can get more. You can get up to 19 if you're super lucky and you use the other watchstones. However, that relying on luck for you to get a harbinger, which then you have to rely on luck again to make it a super pack, isn't really my style. So I'd rather kind of just push the whole chance to get more currency out of these packs. So without further ado, let's get going and see how this farming method pays out. As always, if this farming method does help you make a bunch of currency, if it's profitable for you, please feel free to like, subscribe, or even request any other types of farming. I am more than willing to basically show you how to farm pretty much anything. I've already made a couple videos. If you guys have already checked them out, cool. If not, the videos I have made, one of them is how to farm Syndicate in 3.14, and then I kind of break it down with my complaints and everything like that, and then my just basically how to do it. The other one is how to make a very, very, very valuable ritual farming area and basically take that to the max. Pretty soon here I will be posting a Alva temple farm method. I haven't yet because, again, I've been a little bit under the weather and a little bit sick, so I'm just kind of trying to preserve my voice here and not get worse. Oh. Looks like I got the Shroud Walker buff. Alright, looks like those guys are dead. Now we're only doing a 1-orb map just because I don't want to deal with too much lag and I just want it to be done and over with. This character I'm pretty confident can do up to 4 orbs pretty easily. I would actually only recommend getting to about a 2 or 3 orbs because I believe the pack size caps out. It's just the innate rarity of the monsters that doesn't. If I'm not mistaken. I could be totally wrong. And if I am, I'm sorry. But, it's just, for me, as you see, like, this is my experience with Delirium. I stutter and freeze for a second, and, you know, this is on a 1-orb map, so anything above that I just kind of avoid like the plague. But if you're on PC, oh, look, an Exalted. If you're on PC, then you can probably definitely afford to, you know, do this a little bit better than I can. Just remember the modifier that I have on my watchstone, Exalted, is considered basic currency. So if you have those watchstones rolled the way I do for a chance to drop additional basic currency, that additional one can be an Exalted. I believe it can also be Mirror. I don't know if Mirror is considered on the basic currency table, but either way, Exalteds for sure are, because I believe it's separated between like map and basic, if I'm not mistaken. But other than that, it's pretty simplistic to do this method. It's like, once to get started, it's a little bit of an investment, yes. The watchstones themselves, though, the chromiums for this Follows Rest, they are dirt cheap. I'd be surprised if you spent more than 10-20 C per, just because they are not very uncommon. In fact, they're probably the most common, because platinum and titanium are the uncommon ones. So you should be able to get them real cheap. I spent about, I think, 400 or 500 alts total, and not only did I get 4 of the watchstones that give you extra currency, I also got that chaotic one, which is a very low weighted, and then I got a divine one and a couple other ones all rolled at the same time. So it is definitely worth it to take your time and do this, because as you see, there's a lot of currency just dropping everywhere. Now, I will say this: there is a method that I have experimented with last league. If you want to go see my last league videos for harbingers, I experimented with a method that basically allows you to farm uniques with this, using scarabs and whatnot for uniques and all that good stuff. I I actually didn't get around to it, but I did manage to kind of test other variants of multiplayer, just so I can see how it pan out. And honestly, if you can get a party together, you can throw in an orb, you can put in some scarabs, put in fragments, you should easily be able to come up with a pretty big come up on the whole. Let me kill everything. Hold on. Make sure I don't die. Pretty big come up on the whole thing. Sorry again if I'm not talking as much. Just a little bit harder for me right now that I'm under the weather. Alright, so let's see here. First things first, I'm going to go back to the end of the map and start picking up loot. And then as I work my way back up, I still have Alvas to do, so I'm going to do those. Now, for the reasoning behind me using my Elder Scarab and not using a rusted, not a gilded or anything, is because the Elder Scarabs only increase the amount of Elder drops you get. They don't increase the amount of packs you get between regular and the upgraded ones. So I decided to only go for regular Elder Scarabs. This one was done using a winged Harbinger Scarab, as you saw. And I think between this one and my last one, it looks like and feels like I got a lot more currency. And that just comes down to the fact that I have more Harbingers to kill. Obviously, you can't always expect to get a bunch of currency, but it's going to happen a big amount of the time. Excuse me. Just because it's statistically in your favor to come out on top with this kind of farming method. Now, like I said before, I spent a pretty big chunk of change on my sextants. It ended up costing me 100 and I think 30 or 40. Could be 150. I think I stopped counting at 130 because I was just kind of frustrated. But I spent 3x to get those, and in 2 maps I've gotten 2x back, just raw x. I've gotten a lot of chaos back. I am in standard console PS4, So my X to C ratio is about 50 right now, or 55 or some odd thing. It might be a little higher, and I think I've gotten more than that in Chaos. But you know, either way, on top of that, I've also gotten a pretty decent chunk of other currencies, such as the shards from the harbingers themselves, and of course I got the what do you call it? I got the other small thing, other kind of map currency, such as breaches. Sorry, I'm having a hard time even thinking. And the breach currency, you know, in League sells for a pretty decent amount. I don't in Standard for me. I mean, I don't really sell my breaches, though I could probably get something for them. But I'm basically here just to kind of show you, you know, what you can do and what you can accomplish in League on a pretty relatively cheap budget. Obviously, you might not have enough to get 150 of these sextants, but if you're running maps anyway, what you can do is you can just keep rolling them normally, and then whenever you hit it, you pull out all your scarabs, you pull out everything you have, and then you just, you know, hit the road running and get as much as you can out of it. Alright, let's do our first Alva. Now, I always do alvas on any kind of juicing maps, and, you know, it's just basically because it's adding more pack size. As you see, there's a couple of rares that spawn in here, on top of the fact that there's delirium mobs that spawn. So when I do come out, there is going to be some loot for me. It's not going to be like a crazy amount, but I did get a chaos, and I got a sextant right there, so, you know, it's just a little extra umph. My X is over here somewhere. Yeah, it is. There we go.
I believe in traveling light.
As you see, I have too much currency. I have inventory full right now.
I believe in traveling
New
light.
butt gloves. I like Oscarms. They're fun. So I can't pick up any more chromes. I could probably drop some of these shards, so I'm gonna do that real quick. Let's see. Orb of Bindings are quite literally the most useless orbs ever. I'll grab these chromes. Oh, there we go. There's a whole pack I missed. I don't know if it's a super, but we'll see. Oh, I think it is a super. Oh boy. Yep. Alright, well, now I have to go offload some currency. Because even after that, I'm not going to have enough. Alright, everything's dead.
Light.
Alright, so let's go offload our first inventory full of currency. and I'll like leave my screen just kind of loaded for a second so you can see how much I got. So let's see. There is 30 chaos, an exalted orb, 8 exalted shards, 16 ancient shards, 20, 35 fusings, bunch of jeweler's orbs, a bunch of alterations. It looks like between the two maps I've made most of my alterations back, if I'm not mistaken, but I'll see what my total is after I'm done with this. There we go. Let's go back in, pick up more loot, and then I still have 2 more temples. Now, as you see, there is not a whole lot of challenge to this. I am only doing 1 orb. The maps aren't too cracked out. I have scarabs, and the watchstones themselves are all chromium. Now, I did this on purpose because the expensive watchstone is the platinum watchstone, because the whole harbingers drop rare currency shards. Now, the rare currency shard, like, the best thing you can get is a mirror shard, or, I mean, if you're, like, ridiculously lucky, a mirror itself. However, in all of my testing and all of my farming for the new harbingers, I have not found a mirror shard, not since last league. So, I personally don't think that method is really worth it. So, I chose to get the chromiums and roll the chromiums the way I did, just so I can kind of, you know, get what I can out of that. Let me murder this thing real quick. Excuse me. Oh. All right.
There you are. Ready to... It's time.
Kill this guy real quick. Oh boy. Okay, this is what sometimes happens if you do your temples, you know, at the end, is there's a lot of what do you call these guys? The fog enemies, delirious enemies, whatever you want to call them, that'll be either waiting for you or they'll spawn in here. This half doesn't have a lot, but that first half did. And you gotta be careful, because that can really lag you to death and then just kill you outright. Alright. Let's go kill this rare. Perfect. Now I can go right here. Oh, another chaos orb. Just pick up what I can. Oh, that's a pretty good offer for that. Maybe I'll go to town and accept it. Alright, corruption chamber? Of course not. Alright, well, we're gonna upgrade. Oh, we have more currency back there, what do you know? And we're gonna go over here and just real quick like dispatch everything we can. Now, as I said in the start of this video, that this is basically an already existing farming method that's been around since last league. I've already made a video on it, last league that is, and it didn't really change too much. They just changed the amount of currency you get specifically off of harbingers. As far as the currency shards, no longer am I getting like 3 or 4 full ancient orbs. It's like a half an ancient orb map, and that's including all the extra harbingers. Sometimes I'll get a full ancient orb if I have the rare currency and I get really lucky, but it's just, it feels like it's not nowhere near the same for that. But because this super harbinger pack is the way it is, you end up getting really crazy amounts of just raw currency. So this is, let me just drop that. This is my second inventory full, and there's another 13 chaos, couple fusings, etc., etc. All in all, considering the initial investment, I'm pretty happy with it. I spent 3x on the sextants themselves, a little bit on rolling the map, obviously, one delirium orb, and a couple scarabs, which you don't have to use the winged. You can use the winged once you're like more maxed out. But one thing I will say is that I would recommend you wait until you have at least gildeds and hopefully the infused harbinger craft. So just do harvest for a while, and if you can, and then work on it. Then like just do maybe a good 10-20 maps like this, and you're going to end up with a lot of value. Well, without further ado, I do appreciate you joining me here today in my adventures, and I will be more than happy to post any kind of update to this or any kind of change in watchstones or variant if you're interested. I can also show you the more expensive variant, which is using a set of 4 platinum watchstones, one of them with the harbinger drops extra currency or rare currency, and then 3 with extra harbingers on them. Now this is a little bit different. It's a lot different because the extra harbingers are good, but they're not like the be all end all of what you're looking for. Now, without further ado, thank you for joining me. I hope you like and subscribe, and if you have any idea of video you want to see, feel free to leave a comment and I'll get to it whenever I can.